Greetings, greetings, greetings to all of my loved ones. Welcome back to another episode of Healing Wisdom with me, Empress Oracle, your favorite, sexiest, realist spiritual advisor. I hope everybody's doing well today. It's the weekend, so you already know what that means, and it's Juneteenth weekend. So happy Juneteenth to everybody with melanin. I don't give a shit if you African American or not. If you identify as a person of color, happy Juneteenth, okay? So I'm sure you saw the title, and on behalf of Starseed Galactic Federation, I have been given access to this knowledgeable information from my Akashic records for the purpose of helping humanity. This information has been given to me as a divine channel, and any use and or reproduction without the proper acknowledgement or accreditation from where it was received will result in instant karma for the plagiarizing parties and or individuals. And so it is. So I'm sure you saw the title, and the title is Moving On, because what I have realized is that a lot of people don't know how to do that, including myself. You know, I am a Taurus Venus, so especially with matters of the heart, I can tend to be a ride or die when I don't need to be riding. I don't need to be dying. But however, I have learned in my spiritual journey that the error of not being able to move on. And as you proceed in life, as you progress, especially if you're on a spiritual journey and you're trying to, be your best self, there's going to be times when you're going to have to do certain parts of your journey alone. And unfortunately, that tends to be the part where a lot of people stop on their spiritual journey, because a lot of people fear moving on because they're afraid of the unknown. And a lot of people are afraid of being alone. But what you have to realize, okay, and no offense to any twins, multiples, or anything like that. However, if you were born by yourself, obviously, God, Spirit, Source, the divine, felt as though you were strong enough to handle any obstacles that life has to come along your way on your own. So therefore, if you're in a toxic environment, or you're in a toxic relationship, or if you're at a toxic workplace, sometimes you have to look past the creature comforts, because unfortunately, we're having a human experience. So, we have our own levels of comfort. And sometimes you can get comfortable in environments where you really don't need to. And it's not even because you love it there. It's just that's what you're used to. That's all that you know. And unfortunately, Stockholm syndrome, I think that's the one, where you end up loving your abuser, is real. I think that's the one. Yeah. But anywho, it's a real thing. So there are so many people who have Stockholm syndrome, not just from being in domestic violent relationships with significant others, but they may be so used to ill treatment from their family members. They may be so used to going to their job, clocking in every day, being miserable, sufferation all day long, but that's all that they know. Okay, they've gotten programmed. Essentially, they are institutionalized to the toxic environment that they are in. So that, in a way, is a form of Stockholm syndrome. And unfortunately, a lot of people are afraid to move on. They feel as though they've gotten so used to that pattern, they've gotten so comfortable, and the fear of the unknown is so great that they would rather live their life in less than fortunate circumstances, or receiving less than what they deserve, without being acknowledged of their true worth and value from the people around them. They get so used to that, they don't want to know what the unknown has for them. And it's sad and it's unfortunate, because then essentially you are putting a ceiling on your own growth. Because what we have to realize is, whether it's people, whether it's situations, sometimes it can be employment, but everything is not always meant to be in your life for a lifetime. And that includes toxic environments, toxic people, toxic feelings that make you feel as though you're not worth more. Your own negative self-talk to make you feel as though you're not worth more, because your ego can get to talking to you. Your intuition, when you're being treated well somewhere, when you're truly happy somewhere. But people will try to talk themselves into finding a level of comfort in an unhealthy environment instead of moving on. So many people don't want to start over, and it is essential At many times in your life, in your growth, in your spiritual journey, it's going to be many times where it's going to be essential for you to know how to move on, to shed the old skin, the old layers, the hurt and the traumas from the past, and sometimes even remove yourself from negative or toxic environments for the betterment of yourself, for your mind, your mental health, your emotional health, your overall well-being. And sometimes we have to make certain sacrifices. And unfortunately, especially when you have a calling placed on your life from God, from source, from the divine, whatever you want to call your higher being. But when you know that you are here on this earth for a purpose, you know when you're not fulfilling your purpose. You know when you're not walking in your purpose. And a lot of people are not walking in their purpose because they are afraid to move on from whatever it is that they're doing that is outside of their purpose. They have found that level of comfort, as I said. And when that happens, the universe will force you, okay? Because time waits for no one. And essentially, we have jobs to do. Sometimes it's bigger than us. Sometimes if we're not willing to make the sacrifices, sometimes it's not, if we're not willing to heal, to do the inner work, to be able to move on and be healthy for ourselves and do what it is we have to do, shit can get real. That's where, spiritual people, we say that we'll end up having tower moments. The illusions of comfort that you have given yourself in whatever situation or whatever place, God will snatch that shit right away. He will snatch those rose-tinted glasses off right away and show you what's really real, what's really good. And unfortunately, sometimes it's too late for some people, and they end up moving on to the afterlife. Because, it says somewhere in the Bible, the wages for sin is death, right? Right? That's the real thing. But it takes a while before you get there. I'm not just saying, oh, you don't fulfill your purpose, you're going to die right away. No, eventually everybody has to die. However, you have to know when to take the lessons and the blessings from a situation, from experience, from a place. Okay? Tuck those into your medulla oblongata and get the fuck on before you end up in a severely life-altering situation. And unfortunately, I've had to learn that lesson that way a numerous amount of times, right? That is what made me learn the importance of being able to move on, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. Because you know what? If you move away from a situation, but your mind is still there, you're not going to be able to focus on the task at hand and on your true purpose, your true calling. And that right there is a distraction sent by the devil or negative energies, haters, whatever, to stop you from your purpose. It's up to us to overcome and achieve the obstacles, overcome the obstacles, achieve the goals, the bullet points for the lessons in each situation, and to learn to not be bitter in situations, but be better and move on with love in your heart from a place of love. Holding on to negative feelings, past memories, those can stop you from moving on as well. Just because you're physically not in that same location, if you have not healed from the traumas that you're going through, you're not going to be able to move on. Emotionally, you're still bound to a negative situation. If you're not able to either give yourself positive self-talk, be your biggest cheerleader, your biggest motivator, even if everybody around you is trying to stop you from something that you know is best for you. If you can't give yourself that positive self-talk, if you can't talk yourself through tough situations, if you don't have enough faith, then you need to find that source. You need to go within, you do that work, heal. And if you're unable to heal, or if you don't know how to properly heal so that you can move on and live your best life, seek professional help. At this point, the way that the world, earth, is going to shit in a handbasket, we should not have too much pride to ask for help to help us to move on, to achieve our purposes in life. At this point, almost everybody knows better. Just look around us. Look at the shit that's going on out here. And a lot of things that people are doing are trauma responses because they haven't fully healed or moved on from toxic or traumatic situations. And in turn, it's ruining people's lives. It's lowering our vibrations. It's halting people on their spiritual journeys. It's stopping people from achieving certain goals in life. living up to their true purpose, being their best self, putting their best foot forward out there to the universe, that they can truly show God, so that they can truly show the universe that they really do want what they want in their hearts, what they want to achieve in their hearts. Why do you think so many people are around here walking around strung out on drugs, depressed, would rather be medicated up than face their reality? Because they're still holding on to negative traumas, past experiences, instead of moving on, instead of trying to heal. A lot of people just don't know how to do that, and they're broken. But just because you have been hurt, just because you have been broken, that does not mean that you cannot heal and move on. God never gives you more than you can handle. I don't care how tough a situation is. The problem is when God is throwing tests at people, when life is throwing tests at people, when the devil and his minions are throwing tests at people that make you doubt your faith, that make you doubt your strength. People, we're not trying. We're moving without faith, and we're giving up. And if you move without faith, you can't truly move on, because that's saying that you don't believe in yourself and what God has planned for you, that you know. Because a lot of the things that we daydream about, a lot of things that we fantasize about, as long as there's harm to none, most of those are downloads that we're getting from our higher selves, because that is your true calling, that is your true purpose. And instead, we're thinking that we're wishing on a star, and we're comfortable in negative situations and being stuck, lying to ourselves. I say us because I've done it so many times. That's a lesson that you constantly have to learn. You constantly have to learn how to move on from situations. You cannot take everything to heart. That's how you get premature wrinkles, guys. Okay, look at me. I'm 40 years old. 40 years old. And you know what? I have learned how to move on from situations. I've learned how to heal. And that's why I come and give you guys this healing wisdom. I'm not just talking out my ass. I don't want y'all just to see me talking because I look good. I could take a picture for that. We need to know how to heal, and each one teach one. If you know how to move on from a situation and you see somebody stuck in that situation, don't just watch them. I understand misery loves company, but where is that getting us today? Nowhere. Instead, if you know you can help somebody, help somebody. If you know you can direct somebody to my channel so they can get some healing wisdom, so they can help themselves and they can learn how to move on from all the traumatic lessons that life has given them, do that. Don't be a pooch. Stop pooching. Don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. It's time for us to learn how to heal. It's time for us to move on, because a lot of people, I don't know if you guys have noticed, right now, karma is making her rounds. And there are a lot of people who have been called to jobs to help, to bless the world. And because they have not moved on from toxic situations and karmic cycles that they know that they are in, things that you have done over and over and over again with false hope, with the illusion, because you're afraid of what else is out there, it's time for y'all to drop that shit. It's time. Do it on your own before the universe does it for you. It hurts when that happens. Sometimes we're forced to move on, and people sometimes don't even realize. Sometimes people are forced into homelessness because they're in such toxic environments. And if they had not been forced out of that home, they would still be there, getting abused, getting talked down to, right? And although because they were not strong enough to leave, or they couldn't leave, or they were comfortable, God had to force their ass out. But you know what? What doesn't kill you make you stronger, because you're going to learn lessons from there. Okay, instead of settling, instead of being broken and saying, Lord, why? Pick yourself up, have faith, and move on, move forward. Once you start making the steps in the right direction, God will always make a way for you. I don't care who you are, unless you choose not to have faith and believe in a higher source, believe in God, spirit divine, whatever you call it. Unless you turn yourself over to a reprobate mind and you have no conscience, trust and believe and have faith. And faith without works is dead. It's time for us to move on. It's time for everybody to elevate to a higher place. Okay? God is calling us. I love you guys. And I hope you enjoy your weekend. And while you're enjoying your weekend, make sure that you go on and stop over at my Etsy shop. Okay? There I have all kinds of things that can aid you on your spiritual journey. I have crystals that can help you to move on. They can help you to heal emotional stress and trauma. It really works. Color therapy is a thing. Whatever color you're guided to, that's for you. Check out the description and it'll have a full detailed description of the benefits of those crystals. And then you'll be like, I see why I was called to this. I have bath salts, oils to aid you, to open roads, to help you to move on. I have a road opener oil specifically designed to remove blockages and to aid you in moving on in life. Along with that, you're probably going to want to get some of those positive vibes. I have an oil for that also, right? Speak positivity to yourself. Check out my shop. I have body butters to protect you from negative energy, to enhance and improve your self-love, and to call in the abundance that we all deserve. It's our birthright, guys. But let me get off my podium and stop preaching to y'all. But I'm just saying though, it's time for us all to move on, to better, to bigger, to better. It's time for us to raise our values and our worth. It's time for us to heal. As I said before, I'm a healer. So people always trying to hurt my feelings. I'm constantly having to heal. But each time, each lesson is a blessing. And that's what I contribute to society to help you all, because I love you. I love you all, even if I don't fuck with you. Just know that. Okay? Be safe and have a wonderful weekend.